Thank you. So what I would like to talk about tonight is I would like to talk about surprises. And what I mean by that is I want to talk about each of the candidates and the things that we were happy to hear tonight, so the things that surprised us, and then the things that we were surprised that we didn't hear from each of the candidates. So we'll talk about the things that we were surprised to hear from the candidates, and then anything we were surprised that we didn't hear from the candidates. So if we think about, this is our second time around with both of these candidates, so were there things tonight that we heard that were kind of like, oh, okay, I didn't hear that last time, and I was happy about that. And then are there things that we were kind of like, well, I really wish that they would have talked more about or differently about this. So that's what I'm saying when I say surprises. So I can start with remote or in person. What do we think? Doesn't matter. All right, well, let's start with, I see Robin on the screen, so I'm going to start with Robin. Is that okay, Robin?
That is okay. And I was just writing a note to myself. I can't recall any surprises from either candidates. I'm pretty comfortable with their responses that they gave this evening. And that's all I have.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Body.
So I was surprised, albeit pleasantly surprised, with Ben's closing statement, where he talked about why he wanted to be in Lansing, to try to convince us, maybe perhaps a skeptical public, that he might not be here for that long, or it's not really genuine. Or I thought, like, the 5 points that he gave, I was surprised he saved that for the very end. But I really liked the 5 points that he gave about what Lansing has to offer, whether it's the school board he'd get to work with, or whether it's the fact that we can punch higher than our weight because of go to the capital city, or the other things that he said. I really liked that answer, and that was probably my biggest surprise with his entire interview.
Okay, Dr. Burrows.
I don't have anything. This was essentially what I expected. Both candidates have real strengths.
All right. Trustee Lilji?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I was pleasant. I shouldn't say that. I was surprised to see them both in person, and I know that that was just a thing about where we're at right now. But yeah, I saw, I think, what I expected to hear. I echo Dr. Body's response. I was happy to hear Mr. Schuldener's closing. That's it.
Trustee Hodgen?
The phoenix rising from the ashes, or getting better. I like that too. I enjoyed both of them. I was impressed by both of them, but I very much like Mr. Schuldener, so I am glad I got this second. There were several things and several anecdotes that he told us that were interesting, that he had not shared with us before, and I like them, so he has my vote. I don't know if this is time to vote or just opinion.
Okay.
Because I think Jessica, she's so prepared. She's perfect. But I know. Right. But she could wait 2 more years or 3 more years. No, I am very impressed. Very impressed. I think we will do good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez.
Jumped over here.
I did.
Surprised me.
I did. Keep you on your toes.
Well, I wasn't ready. This interview was very important. The second interview, it gave me the answers, or lack thereof, that I had in my mind, and based on the community input. So, but I was glad that they're both good folks, and it's going to be a hard decision that we're going to make, only because they're good candidates, and not because they're not. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Yes, sir, Dr.
Thank
Rodriguez,
you.
you're up.
I echo Mr. Lopez. It's very good appreciation. Both of them had very strong points, very, very strong points. And you already made, I see the difference between one who is a planner and has a mind more oriented to staff, and the other one more oriented to how we can do better things. I was surprised about the pathways and how we the last candidate knew a lot about the pathways. I didn't say that positive or negative, but I am glad that he studied everything about Lansing School District and the Lansing community. I was impressed by how much emphasis Mrs. Benavides gives us more deep answers than the first time. And that was good too. Thank you.
Okay. Vice President Willis?
Thank you. I don't necessarily know if I would define this as a surprise, but something that I was impressed by or just really stood out to me and was happy to hear it emphasized was when Ms. Benavides mentioned several times about her goal for the district to be a destination district and define us as culturally wealthy. And I really liked that phrase, that cultural wealth. I was surprised by the amount of attention that was paid by Mr. Schuldiner to emphasize his interest and investment in the community beyond just the district. That was something that I was happy to hear him intentionally emphasize during this round of interviews. And there was a point I was going to make about that I lost. I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you. President Lawrence?
I was surprised that when Mrs. Benavides was asked essentially what her weaknesses are, she couldn't really identify one. I remain surprised and concerned that Mr. Schuldiner, frankly, is verbose and might struggle with putting on his listening ears. I had another thing, but I forgot, so I'm done.
All right. So we have discussed both of the candidates. Yes. Yeah. Yep, that's all right. I've supplied you with the answers to all of the surveys from all of the surveys that have come in tonight. So you've got all those. I've sent those, and I'm getting ready to send a third batch here that has a handful more. That is all that I have tonight. So I will turn it over to President Lawrence.
Thank you. I want to remind everyone that we will be meeting Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Everyone will be virtual for that meeting. And I want to remind board members that we are bound by the Open Meetings Act. And please save our discussions until Saturday morning. Please be ready to bring honest feedback, go through the surveys that Jay has sent out, because there's really great feedback in those surveys. I want to thank all the community members who have taken the time to fill those out. As you can see, the board takes that feedback extremely seriously. So continue to fill those out, continue to reach out to board members if you would like to. Any other comments from board members? Okay.
Then if we vote,
Turn your mic on.
I'm sorry. I want to be sensitive to everything, and at the same time having in mind what you told us at the beginning, and I feel the same way, as I want to have for the person who we choose together as many votes that we can. Do we need to go to several times of voting, or we voting one time and we stay with that motion, or we can have several motions? For instance, if we had the first time is 6-3,
Gotcha.
can we have the motion, second motion
We
say
can have another opportunity to vote.
that is and we had to agree at the beginning. Then we have a divide vote. We will have the second motion to see if we can have unified thing.
Yes.
Okay, is that possible? Okay, perfect. But I want everybody to know then that the first time we vote doesn't mean it's the last one.
Right, correct. I also want to be very clear with board members that on Saturday, we will hire a superintendent. This is our responsibility. This is our job. We need to make this decision. So I beseech all of you to be prepared for Saturday morning. If for nothing else, the executive team needs to know who their new boss is going to be. So let's think about that as well. Thank you, everybody. Any other? Yes.
One point of clarification. On Saturday, we will make a determination as to who we would like to enter into contract negotiations
Sure.
with.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. You would think Jay's the lawyer in the group. And, yes, Ms. Hodgen.
When you say the executive team, what do you mean? Is the executive team the one making the decision, or is it the whole board
No,
making?
the board makes the decision.
Okay,
But when I talk about the executive team, I'm talking about the people who typically would sit back here in a board meeting. And I've had some communication that they've been through a lot in the last 2 years. They're very important members of our family, and they would appreciate the board making this decision quickly. Ms. Lilji, did you have your hand up?
No, I just wish I could, I just want to know more where everybody stands right now, but we can wait to discuss that till Saturday.
Okay, any other comments? You guys up there? Okay. With no other business before the board at 9:29, we are adjourned.